Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Folks, we have been talking about and analyzing the left and, of course, the Democrat Party for nearly 3 years at this point. It's kind of crazy how fast time flies. I guess how fast time flies when you're having fun. I still remember getting my first viral video and my first 10,000 subscribers. It really wasn't that long ago, but anyways, we've been covering the left for a long time, and very often, the same words pop up over and over again. And the Democrat word of the day today is delusion. These people are some of the most delusional beings on the planet. And it seems as though there's this element of one-upsmanship going on within the Democrat ranks. Who can outdo who in the battle for peak delusion? Well, folks, we have a new victor. We are crowning Elizabeth Warren as the most delusional person in politics. You guys are not going to believe this. Elizabeth Warren, possibly one of the worst candidates on the planet, one of the most two-faced politicians who's trying to play both sides, just stated on the record to the media that the reason she, Elizabeth Warren, is not currently president of the United States is because she doesn't have male appendages. That's the word that we're going to use. Like I told you guys, absolute peak delusion. Let's try to delve into the mind of Elizabeth Warren and, of course, delusional Democrats. We've got some stuff to get into, folks. So let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so take a look at this. Elizabeth Warren, quote, "Everyone tells me that they would vote for me if I had male appendages." Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat from Massachusetts, blamed her failed 2020 presidential bid on the fact that she was born without male appendage. According to a new book, NBC News correspondent Ali Vitali is out with a new book, Electable: Why America Hasn't Put a Woman in the White House Yet. Based on an excerpt from the book in Politico, Warren and some in her campaign believe that one of the reasons is because Iowa's Democratic voting base is filled with a bunch of sexists. Vitali, who followed Warren along during the 2020 Iowa primary campaign, recounted that after the caucus was over, she discussed the campaign with Warren and why she did not do as well as she had hoped. We talked about the dynamic of Iowa, her competitors, and the pressure she put on herself to screw this up, Vitali wrote. "Everyone comes up and says to me, I would vote for you if you had male appendage," she claimed Warren said. Vitali also revealed that a Warren campaign organizer was dismayed by the response she received from a 60-year-old white woman with a peace sign in her front yard. Upon seeing that the organizer was there on behalf of Warren, the elderly lady said, "Oh, sweetie, this country will never have a woman president. I lost it," the unnamed individual told Vitali. But that was the vibe. Women and men alike, both as explicitly as that, but also implicitly, would just say, look, I think it's great what you're doing, but America, it's just not gonna happen. And of course, this is exactly what you'd expect from the left-wing base. This is just the way that they think. I can't do something because of insert identity or insert background here. But what they don't seem to realize is that they do it to themselves. In fact, I think they're probably the sexist ones in the end if you think about it. They're the ones who keep telling themselves that they're fighting sexism while continuing to perpetuate this notion that women cannot achieve something based on their gender. I'm going to make this prediction right here, right now. The first female president of the United States is going to be a Republican, unless the Democrat Party somehow reforms its way of thinking and stops viewing or framing everything through the prism of oppression Olympics, grievance politics, and cultural Marxism or intersectionality. All these Democrats keep saying that women keep failing electorally, at least within the general election, because the United States is bigoted and sexist and just isn't ready to elect a woman. But the reality is, most of the female candidates that are propped up by the establishment, these establishment picks, especially on the Democrat side, are complete disasters. You know, I'm pretty sure if Kari Lake in the state of Arizona wins her election, becomes the governor, and has a stellar track record being a fighter for her constituents, not only would she have the potential to win a primary election, but she would probably win by a landslide, of course, barring if Ron DeSantis isn't there and his track record doesn't continue. Just a hypothetical scenario. The point is, if a female candidate is good enough, if she ticks all of the boxes, if she's tough, confident, charismatic, has all of the right policies, and is a great debater, she's gonna win. The problem is, Democrats keep propping up people like Elizabeth Warren, Hillary Clinton, and Kamala Harris. And what they don't seem to realize is that their ridiculous victimhood mentality is the reason why no one likes them. Kamala Harris has been nothing but a failure throughout her entire time as vice president. But we keep getting reports of Kamala Harris complaining that she's only getting the scrutiny that she's getting because she's a woman. It's complete nonsense, and it makes people dislike her even more. Hillary Clinton, the same thing. Trump supporters are just bigots and sexists, misogynists, deplorables, and played the woman card throughout the entire entirety of the 2016 election. People found it cringe. They don't like it. Elizabeth Warren did the exact same thing during the 2020 Democratic primary. She accused Bernie Sanders, of all people, of sexism. She claimed that Bernie Sanders told her that she couldn't get elected, that she was unelectable because she was a woman. And instantly, her political stock tanked through the floor. It's not because you're a woman. It's because you're a victim. It's because you're cringe. And you're a massive hypocrite. You know, the decision between you and Bernie Sanders, for the most part on surface level, it's pretty similar. A lot of people would say that Elizabeth Warren is the female version of Bernie Sanders, except she's not, and here's the difference. Bernie Sanders doesn't accept lobbyist money. He's an actual grassroots politician. He may be a communist, but at least he's a relatively honest one. Elizabeth Warren trying to give you 1970s hippie vibes, dude. Even as was mentioned in the article with the peace sign outside of her house. Well, really, if you dig down deep inside of it, she's backed by big corporate donors, big money, and Democrat establishment money. She's an establishment pick, LARPing as a for the people communist. You know, maybe if you were honest, maybe if you were a good person, maybe if people got a good vibe from you, they'd vote for you, but instead, you perpetuated this lie that you were Cherokee Indian, trying to take advantage of mud diversity points in order to propel your career, your academic career, when you were much younger, and you pushed that lie up all the way till 2020 till you got totally caught out. And once again, your political campaigning stock fell through the floor. I'm tired of these excuses. These Democrats are such hypocrites. They talk a whole lot about the big lie and everything else. I'm going to be real vague. I don't want to go into any of that detail. But they're the #1 election deniers. They've been doing it forever. Whenever they don't win, it's never their fault. It's always someone else's fault. Hillary Clinton still to this day hasn't conceded the 2016 race. Neither has Stacey Abrams. And now apparently, Elizabeth Warren claims that she didn't actually lose the 2020 Democrat primary nomination. No, she lost because of sexism and patriarchy or some nonsense like that. Utterly ridiculous. And it's especially ridiculous when you look at hypothetical presidential candidates for the Democrat Party. Who is the best performing Democrat candidate against Donald Trump, or against really any generic Republican contender, that the Democrats currently have access to in hypothetical polling data? It's not Joe Biden. It's not Kamala Harris. It's not Pete Booty Buttcheeks. It's not Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders or AOC. It's Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is literally their golden egg, and so is maybe Oprah or something, and completely destroys their victimhood narrative. Their America's not ready yet narrative, glass ceiling narrative. That's nothing but a grift. America is totally ready to elect a female president. I mean, for Pete's sakes, they keep telling us that America is the most racist nation on earth, but Barack Obama was president for 8 years straight, and the top performing hypothetical candidate is Michelle Obama, who happens to be a woman and also happens to be African American. The reality is, their candidates suck. None of the top establishment presidential nominee hopefuls were able to beat a sleepy, creepy old man. A man who's almost 80 years old, a man who can't pronounce words, is actually losing his mind in his early stages of dementia, a man who has so many skeletons in his closet I've lost count at this point. The problem isn't sexism, the problem is basic competence. Hillary Clinton didn't lose because she was a woman. Hillary Clinton lost because she's one of the most unlikable, corrupt politicians in American history. Kamala Harris, same thing. Elizabeth Warren, same thing. If somebody comes and breaks the mold and is an actual decent candidate, well, actually, you kind of had it in Tulsi Gabbard. If someone like Tulsi Gabbard comes along and you nominate them, well, who knows? You might actually break the glass ceiling after all. But of course, we know that is never going to happen because Democrats do what they are told, and they just vote for the establishment pick instead of picking the best person for the job. I mean, considering the amount of cultural pull that they have, considering how they control everything, it's really a miracle that Republicans ever win at all, at least in the modern day, considering how the politics has shifted towards the left over the past couple of decades. Yet Donald Trump managed to win, and if anything, that just says that Democrat candidates are absolute garbage. Nothing else. And I'm sticking by that prediction. The first female president of the United States will be a Republican. Maybe Carrie Lake or someone like her after Ron DeSantis' 8 years. That's what I got for you guys though. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you're up for it. I'm gonna get back to work. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.